Maybe we're gonna do Sivga. Okay? Can you handle that? Anyway, welcome to my desk. And the V8 and the Mercurius are both turned on at this point because I needed to tube these. I know. She's like on me. I'm gonna have to put a little cage like in the background. You wanna dance in a cage for the audience? Like Pasta did for that little bit after college. She apologized for it. Sivga 006 2020 edition. This has happened a lot recently. I mean, it's 2021. I'm filming this in 2021. You're watching this in 2021. But I guess companies got bored in quarantine and was just like, you know what? Let's just make a new version of that thing that we did already, and we'll call it the 2020. Hi-Fi did it. Sivga's doing it. I think there's one or two other like specific products that have been like, oh, let's just make a 2020 version. And then people will buy it again, and we'll raise the price, which is what's happened with these. The original 006 were $90, and I fucking love them. In fact, I called them the poor man's TH900 with the Fostex, like the $1,700 Japanese painted insane, because they were dark and low-end focus, and they were, oh. So what happened in 2020? Why bring the Sivga 006 for like this new grand entrance? Well, from what I read, they took away the cable without the microphones. You just get one cable with the microphone. It's not a terrible cable. It's cloth. It has the little controls on it so you can plug it into your phone. So they removed that and the airplane adapter, because who the fuck's on airplanes in 2020? And they've changed the tuning a bit. And by a bit, I mean a whole lot. So they don't sound like TH900s anymore. They sound much more focused, cleaner, a little bit more neutral, which at first I was against. I sat here going, fuck. Well, I sat wherever the hell I was listening. I was like, fuck. I just wanted the old ones back, because I regret selling the TH900. I regret selling the 006s, the original ones, in the yard sale, because every time I wanted to recommend like a close back, I had nothing in my hands that I had to just say the words. And so now that these are in my hands, I'm like, ooh, okay. Construction, real quick. The same Sivga headband, nice, big, plush, has padding, metal, wood, not leather, but you could just see that these pads look comfy as fuck. Swimming 2-knuckle. Very soft, not memory. Is it a memory foam? I can't tell anymore. I think foams have gotten, there might be this weird like semi-memory foam that's going around, because it feels softer and plusher than like normal foam, but it doesn't hold the shape like a memory foam headphone would. I do find the pads a little bit like, you touch them and you're like, wow, are these sticky? They're not sticky. They're just rubbery. They're more rubbery than leathery. Let's put it that way. I haven't had any problems with comfort or anything. They don't match quite the thing up here. But a wood cup, Sivga logo embroidered into the side of it vertically. So if you lay them down, the Sivga logos are in the same direction. So that helps my OCD quite a bit. There are 3 vent holes in the top, which actually, that means they actually had to make 2 of these cups. Any normal headphone manufacturer would have looked at this and said, okay, Sivga vertically, 3 holes on top, thing on the bottom. Let's just make the same cup and we'll put it on both sides. They didn't, because to have the 3 holes in the top and the Sivga logo that way, and 3 holes on top, Sivga logo that way, they had to make individualized cups. So bravo Sivga for not taking that slight shortcut. Left and right indicators on the outside. I'm starting to really want indicators on the back. I've been doing this job long enough that I can start complaining about the little stupid shit that I'm like, what the fuck do they do that? So probably gonna get a magic marker and just color in red and color in blue, so I can just pick it up and be like, I don't see any colors. Obviously that's the front, and there's red and blue, and that'll be the side. Well, actually that's backwards. Shut up. I'm not doing it for reals now. The wire is okay, a little bit short, like I said. It's honestly designed for portability. If we whip out the box, and inside the box is the box, and inside the box is the bag, is the box. We get, oh, nice piece of foam, actually. Quality foam is hard to come by. This bag is empty because everything's out of it. It's just 1 wire and 1 1/4-inch adapter. Does come with a nice bag, though. I will say, if you're going to travel, oh God. whatever the hell that was. If you're going to travel, this is quality shit. Keep in mind, Sivga is the same company who puts out the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is like top tier, even though the Phoenix is basically multiple parts ripped off of like the Sendiiva. But ooh, this is nice. This is nice. It actually doesn't need this. They could just sell this in a plastic bag and I'd be perfectly satisfied. Let's put that there and that there and that there. We have big stacks of this. I love the, it feels like there should be like Colombian coffee beans in this, like a sampler of Colombian coffee beans, but there's not. So they're comfortable. They have a nice, beautiful, look at the clamp, linear clamp. It gets tough right about there. Everything below that is the same clamp. The pads, soft, put on your head. They fit over my ears just so. Did I pause the music? I did. Splinter Cell. Wallpaper available in the description, by the way. These are very detailed. Oh, that low end and the space. Now they're doing a thing with... I had them plugged into the A90, which... The reason I set up the Mercurius stack is because I thought these sounded a little bit dry. They weren't dry in the original iteration, but then again, I'm also going off memory from like a year ago. And much has happened since then. You're blocking the speakers. So they jacked the price from 90 to 130. And I know some of you are going, oh, fuck, that's the worst. Fucking throw this shit in the garbage. It's not bad. Under 150 for a closed back with wood and metal and not leather, but not nice enough to be like, oh, it's fine. They've cleaned the sound up to the point of being like actually competitive in the analytical, like mixing and mastering is actually possible on these. I'd say the old ones were like, oh, those are just a fun, laid back, dark or slightly V-shaped can. Let's roll with it. And these are much more grown up, and I usually don't like that. But I'm not gonna like. There still exists, by the way. Hi-Fi Go sent me these because Hi-Fi Go had them. Now I look on Hi-Fi Go and I can't find them. So I'm going to link them, but I can't show you them. But yeah, the Hi-Fi Go still has, oh, they sold out the blonde. Shit. Because the blonde B8s, which look exactly like this, just not labeled as such. That's the oldest revision where they had the cutout for where they used to have a metal thing. And these were like, what, like $75. So that's definitely the old. They're all, look, it's all the same manufacturers. They just all do their little bit of tuning to them to make them their own. But if you want to get an old set of 06s and get that dark sound, the TH900, like all bass and then just, that's still available. These are a much newer crowd, and that's why tube amps are on. Because as much as that sounds clean and neat and positive, if I need to really glue that down. Unplug this, and if I go into the Singzer, which is Class A, little more bass presence, a little more mid-range, it just it oohs up the ooh. Like the bass, that's what we're talking about. Because there's sub bass, and then there's bass, and then there's mid-range treble, and then mid-treble. But the Class A like warms up the tone a little bit. Now we're starting to get back to that TH900 thing. So what if we go higher than that? What if we go out of Class A and we go into like a hybrid tube? And this is the Extro TA03S. Well, that adds a little bit of expansion to the width. Ooh. Every time I change this from linear to Class A, to hybrid, to I put on the other hybrid, which is the TA20, which is a balanced hybrid. That expands it a little more. We got a little more going on. Oh, God, yes. And then finally, and I decided I didn't want to use this wire. It's not a bad wire. Aluminum connections and everything. It's just, you can, because it's a 3.5 millimeter and more headphone companies use, you can upgrade to something like this SKW cable, which is what I actually use for my Fostex. And that's plugged into the Dark Voice. And this is the first time the Dark Voice has been on since I moved out of the apartment. So now we've gone from linear to Class A to hybrid balance to actual tube. And the song ends, of course. Yes. What a beautiful example of the difference in amps. I'll bitch about DACs making very little difference or little difference to none, but man, amp, just straight up the line. I could just line up. How much do you want to fuck with it? How much? You want to fuck with it? None? Or a little bit? I could go into that Class A, or that, which is, oh, the bows, Italian. Oh. Yes. These are a wonderful headphone if you want. Nice, soft pads. Example. These remind me, I'm going to link them in the description. I have to, because people are like, but there's $100. Yes. Sennheiser HC280 Pros. Also, a very linear, neutral set of headphones by default. You put them into a linear amp, you put them into that, and you just like, this is good. This is mastering and monitoring headphone with 30 decibels of attenuation. That's what its job is. Is it comfortable? Mostly. Clamps a little high, attached cable, things like that. So this comes out and it starts eking into that territory. Very neutral, very clean, gets low enough, gets high enough. There's no real spikes. It's not like, what kind of shape is it? Is it V-shaped? Is it W-shaped? It's just clean. It's neutral. It's a neutral headphone. And then, because it's dynamic and it's responding so well to all the different amplifiers. The HC280 Pros are my go-to for listening to a tube amp versus a solid state. Because even though they're only $100, they change the most. HC600s over there they sound the best on a tube amp. Of all the things HC600s can do, you throw them on a tube and they come alive and they become more fluid and loving and oh God, and you start writing poetry because you're listening to them. But they don't change the most. They just sound the best on tubes. Shit like this in the 280 Pros physically change the most. For some reason, I don't know why it is cheap dynamics do that. All the big expensive stuff doesn't really change the most. Even like ZMF stuff, when you put it from a solid state to a tube, they sort of lock in their sound signature. So you're listening to ZMF Aeolus and you change to another amplifier, it's still ZMF Aeolus, just slightly tweaked by a tube. Shit like this Sivga 06 and the 280 Pros, you're listening to them on the topping A90, you're hearing the topping A90. Then you're hearing the Rebel amp. Then you're hearing the fucking dark voice, and you're hearing the hybrid, you're hearing the Singzer. You're hearing the amplifiers way more than you're hearing the definition of the headphone, because the headphones are basically neutral. And that's the selling point of these now. Because if you have the original 06s, you could legitimately buy these and have a second pair. Just completely. They're as far as I can remember, and memory's not perfect, and acoustical memory certainly isn't perfect. These sound different by default than what I remember the 06s sounding like. Although, to be honest, over a year ago, the 06s, what amplifiers was I using? What did I amp them with? Because everything here has changed except for the dark voice. That's the oldest amplifier I think I have. Because the 789's been replaced by the A90. The KN just joined recently. The Rebel amp joined recently, but I did have it at the old place. The Liquid Gold X is new. The X2Os are sort of new and weren't used like this. I mean, I guess I had the Solaris. The Singzer is certainly new. So it's like a whole new crop of amplifiers. So I'd have to go back and rewatch my 06 review and see exactly what I was dicking around with on my desk. I think what I'm saying is I recommend these. $130, do it. They're built super fucking well. Super well for fucking, random Sivga Chinese headphone. How are they built? Metal, fake leather. Nice and linear, soft pads. I haven't even tried. You can take the pads off, but I'm not going to. First of all, they're a slightly odd shape. They kind of look like Shure 1540 shape, which means I should legitimately want to try them in the Shure 1540s pads. But I don't know if I'm going to do that, because then at that point, I'm going to start switching to everything. Usually pads come if I think there's something absolutely wrong with the headphone, like the comfort or the sound. Then I'm like, all right, I can fix this. Let me try pads. Let me try wires. And these are not broken. So why? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. A plus approved by Zeos. Thank you, Hi-Fi-Go, for sending them. I had to verify because these have been like my default. Like I have $100 Zeos. I need a closed-back headphones for gaming, music, movies, porn, streamers, just the sound of mechanical shit breaking. It was always 006 because they sounded like TH900s. So I'm still going to recommend these highly. I just think I have to warn people ahead of time. Look, they're very, very neutral. Doesn't mean boring. It just means that they're not like the fucking hemps, the Grado hemps that I recommend now. Highly, highly, highly recommend them. Are not neutral in any way. They're more luscious and grandeur than anything. So just put them on, you're like, ah. These are put them on, you're like, huh. That's very clean. Very clean. And if you want to fuck it up, that's when you start swapping out weird amps. So yes, I approve of these. Sound demo in the description. Wallpaper, as always, in the description. If you like this channel and you want to see videos early, $5 a month puts you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram. No, wrong. $5 a month puts you into the Patreon and Subscribe Star, which lets you see reviews early and participate in yard sales. In fact, yard sale video for me is coming out tomorrow, not for you. And I still have to ship last month's yard sale stuff because I got 30 inches of snow and that prevented everything from happening. But yeah, $5 a month. Participate in the yard sales. I'll sell you things that have just either companies sent or I've bought. And I'm like, I'm done with this. Probably hold on to these for at least a month or two. I might want to do some comparisons. I've got other headphones coming. And then after that, you know, they're a brand new set, so I know I can always get them. Gone. See, that makes me miss the original 006s more. A little bit more. Yeah, see all these reviews early. For $10 a month, which is the price that you could use to save a starving elephant in Africa, you can join the $10 a month Telegram chat, which has me in it, and I'll answer all your questions, and I'll tell you DACs sound exactly the same to a point, and you should really concern yourself more with features than anything else. You know, that's the sort of good advice that you need. You need to hear it to save money. You spend money to save money. That's the way that works. But yeah, no, great bunch of guys in there. They'll help you out with any of your problems, and they'll have different opinions than I do, and that's fine. It's fine. Fine. No, it's fine. It really is fine. It's interesting having like a little private group, and we all have different perspectives on things, and every once in a while, we all look at one person and go, "Are you fucking crazy?" And then we either argue with them or agree. It's weird. Yeah, so Sivga 006 2020 edition. Sound demo. I'll see you tomorrow for the sound demo. I slept like 12 hours last night. I feel like I'm floating. This is weird. I got a whole dream about like trying to survive the Titanic.